Alright guys, welcome back to Frugal Homestead. So today we're going to talk about passive income. We're going to have multiple videos on this, but I hear people talking about passive income and their terms and their definition of passive income must greatly differ from mine, because passive income for me is something I don't have to really do anything. So we've personally made some changes to produce some passive income. Now, on the scale of things, you guys may not think this is a big deal, but when I tell you the numbers, you're going to realize that more than likely your standard bank that you're banking with right now is screwing you. And I mean screwing you. Now, you're going to hear us talk about a bunch of APYs, which is basically your annual percentage yield, whatever, I don't know. The point is, it's what your bank pays you for having money in there. Now, obviously, if you get money from them, you're going to pay them big. They pay you little. These numbers are based upon, and they can say they're not, but they are. The upper end ones we're going to talk about move with the federal interest rate and where they set that at. So these rates are not going to always be locked in. They're going to move around a little bit. But we're just making a point to you why we moved our money out of our standard bank savings account. We still have our checking account, mind you. But we're moving our money out of our local bank and moving it into a high interest savings account. All right? The concept here is we banked with U.S. Bank right now. And we have for years. Quite a while. We had a checking and savings just like any normal person would at any bank. And this year we found out that normal banks screw you bad on savings. And I felt gullible because I generally try to keep myself researching things and stay ahead of things. And it is my job to make sure this family doesn't get scammed. And essentially we're getting scammed. And you're like, my bank's great. No, your bank's not. I'm telling you now. The normal average is 0.05 to 0.01. Somewhere in there, that's how much interest you're making. To put it in perspective, we had a fairly good amount in our savings account, and the last month I checked it, we got 2 cents of interest in that account for that month. And we had a good amount of money in there. So I'm thinking to myself, I only made 2 cents of interest. So when you think about inflation of what money's worth, or you look at the fact that they're charging us fees, we don't make anything. In fact, we lose money having it in there. So, did some looking, kind of caught the tail end of it, but there are banks out there that don't make it as easy for you to have your hands on your money, but they're paying interest rates of like 1.7, even up to 2% interest rates on your money, guys. It's crazy. So, just by saving your money, something you're already doing, you can actually produce income. Now, obviously, it may be cents, it may be dollars. If you're saving up a large amount, maybe you're saving to buy a tractor. Maybe you're saving to buy a car. You can earn some real cash this way. And this is a true passive income because you put it in there and you forget it. Period. So, who did we decide to go with?
We decided to go with Capital One.
Yep, so that's their 360 performance savings. It's 1.7% right now. Obviously, I said
it is variable.
It is variable, so it moves. You know, it moves with the federal, how they set the rate, you know, the interest rate. It moves with that. But still, it stayed pretty constant around where it is. I think it was at 1.8 or 1.9 at one point recently and has moved down. Now, don't go to this bank just because we said that's who we're using.
There's several out there that you could use
yes.
that are higher interest.
And there's some that have some amazing numbers if you want to go jump through some hoops. If you get their checking and you have this amount of money in there, or you're willing to do like 6 deposits of up to $1,000 a month. There's so many different ones. You got to do your own research. we have a standing relationship with Capital One. Do you want to tell them more about our relationship with Capital One?
We've had our credit cards with them. He has an account. I have an account. I don't know, probably 5 years we've had them.
Yep.
5 to 6 years.
Now, we say we have credit cards with Capital One. Once again, we're not affiliated with them. There's not a sponsored video. We just have used them, and everybody says, oh, they got terrible rates. We pay our credit cards every month. Period.
100% our balance is paid off. I have never, I think I paid $9 in interest like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So we already had a relationship with them. We already had an account basically with them so we could use their app. All this stuff goes through the app. Now, here's the caveat to most of these places. Most of them don't have physical locations you can walk into. All right? Mm-hmm. You need to have a checking account at a stone and mortar bank basically, or set up direct deposit or something to get your money in there. Now, Capital One does have these like coffee house lounge things in some parts of the country. In our part of the country here in Ohio, there's nothing within 80 miles of us. There's a thing online where you can check and they'll tell you what they have around you. So we don't actually have a location we can walk into. We can transfer money in and out of it. We can direct deposit into it. We can pay bills with it. We are allowed to do 6 withdrawals a month, which I think is more like a federal norm. Mm-hmm. And then they charge you for any more than 6 withdrawals in a month. That's like more like a federal thing, so that's not really them. But all these banks are pretty much like this. They save money and they work with other banks and they compile the money, and basically by putting money in a savings account, you're borrowing that bank money. You should be making money back off of that. You should get the same interest, or at least something, the same way they get it when they rent it from you. Basically, you go get money from them, you're expected to pay interest. Why aren't they? So,
or they're loaning your money out that's in your savings account, and they're earning all this interest on it, but they're not kicking any of that back to you.
Yeah, so most of these ones that have the higher interest rate, like I said, are basically online entities. It can work through maps. We actually just take pictures of our check and load it in, and she has a direct deposit going into it, and then we do transfer money through our checking account up to it, and it works just like a normal savings account. The concept is it's a little harder, or it might take you a day or two to get the money out of it in some circumstances than, say, to have it at a bank where you can just walk in and take it out. They do have ATMs. Mm-hmm. So you can go to an ATM and pull money out if you want to. I'm sure there's a limit like there is anywhere else. So if you've got 10 grand in there, you probably can't go to an ATM and pull 10 grand out. But, if you're going to use it for long-term storage for your money, then
you're not going to be pulling it out all the time anyway.
Yeah. So, these all pretty much are going to be FDIC insured, so your money's safe. Some of them do use other kinds of insuring modes, but those are more like money markets and other things. So just kind of do your research, check on your own. But it's just another way that we can take the money that we're already saving and make it make more money. We used to think, oh, it's great to have money in the bank here in town. It's good to have money at home. It's not making us any money. This is true passive income. You take... And the interest, you have to understand how interest works, because it's also, the interest is compounding on the actual interest. Not on the amount of money that's in there, but monthly, the interest you make off of it compounds. So if you're going to keep a couple grand in the bank, or if you're saving for some big ticket items, make a few dollars by having it in there. And
every little bit counts.
Yes, I mean, pennies equal nickels, nickels equal dimes, dimes equals quarters, same thing. It's just like if you had a jar of change at home. Why not be making something off of it rather than nothing? Homesteads are built on saving money, budgeting, and putting your money where it needs to go. So if we're going to save it, why not make some money off of it?
It basically boils down to, do you want to make 0.01% interest or maybe 1.5% interest?
Yeah. That's basically the terms you have to look at.
It's just as simple as that.
And you have to find what works for you. I mean, are you going to be able to, say, wait 24 hours if you need to get large chunks of money out? If you can, then this is an option for you. And we're going to be working on many, many more of these little passive income hacks to make money, to prepare for the future, to be able to move forward with your life and your property and your lifestyle, and maybe prepare for those years when you don't have that income coming in. So this is going to be part of a series. This is just number one. We're kind of calling it our passive income because that's essentially what you're doing. You're putting money in and it's giving you money back. Real money that you can actually have, and the difference of like pennies versus dollars, in my opinion.
Yes.
So step one in our passive income, this is the first thing we are doing. Once again, you don't have to go to Capital One. Do your research. Find the style of banking that fits your needs. And take your money and invest it somewhere where somebody's going to take care of you rather than you taking care of them. So until next time, I'm Tony.
I'm Missy. We'll see you in the next one.